everybody. Welcome back to the Shady Ho Show. You probably forgot who the fuck we are, because I pretty much forgot who he is. We the three baddest bitches in the town. Duh, and we're fucking back. So before we get started, why don't we go ahead and introduce the other shadiest bitches in the world? Whoever wants to go first, you go.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm a fire sign, Cancer rising.
Yes.
Yes, and I haven't been employed for 3 months.
Oh my god,
It's
has it
been
been
3 fucking months.
How does
I've
it
been a
feel?
jobless whore for 3 months. So there's that.
How does it
So
feel?
take it away.
Hi, it's Stage Trinity. I just threw something
Oh
and
my
lost
God.
it. Okay, never mind.
Oh no.
I don't know what to say because legit, I don't remember what we talked about in the last episode. My mom died. That's new
Oh
for
my
you
God.
guys.
That's right.
Which is why we took like a giant break. Everybody had a weird life.
As you can hear,
Yeah, we definitely.
But let's not talk
as
about
you all
that
can
today.
hear, she has coped with it. I mean, she wasn't like laughing at the funeral. Just so y'all know, like she's had time to cope with it. It's not like it was just like, ah, you're dead. Like she's coped. Just so you all know, this isn't something like death is not something that we generally laugh at unless it's like somebody that we hate.
Yes, it is.
Just so y'all realize,
I don't have proper coping skills.
That is so fair.
like it's like one of those like nervous tics you see people do. Like they're like really sad, but they're like, they're like hysterically laughing, but they're crying because they're just like, I'm dead inside. That kind of thing.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're
No,
gonna
like when I was in I have a story. I'm talking about it. Okay.
Ooh, child.
When I was, in therapy, I used to do that, because I do a nervous laugh or I laugh when things are awkward. And at one point she was like, "Why do you laugh all the time?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's because I feel awkward." And she's like, "Do I make you feel awkward?" And then I just started laughing again, and I was like,
No. No.
I bet the therapist was like,
So yeah,
"Bitch."
apparently I do it enough where my therapist asked about
That
it.
is okay. Yes, that's a problem. Damn.
Now I don't
She
know,
called your
like,
ass out.
like I don't
She
know, like
did.
you're okay. So you do laugh a lot. So now I'm gonna be wondering, am I making her awkward? Like, are you awkward?
I think my awkward laugh is distinctly
It is.
different than my enjoyable laugh because I'm aware that it sounds different, so I assume
Wait,
everybody else
can you
Literally, Grace,
replicate
when you
your awkward laugh?
it's like
Yes.
it's like
Interesting.
it's significantly different. Yeah.
You know that my actual laugh is very like high pitched and like deep, so like it comes from the chest.
It's a very hearty.
Whereas my awkward laugh is like, yeah, that's
Get me out of here.
I'm dead.
See, I don't think I have an awkward laugh. I'm just like, I have like a bitch laugh. Like, that's funny.
When people have started to make me uncomfortable, I literally have just like thrown the awkward laugh out of the window and I will stare them in the eye with like a blank expression and just be like, and look at them until they say something. Like if people start making like racist jokes around me, I'll literally look at them and be like, I was waiting for like the joke. Like that wasn't funny.
like, I don't
like,
get it. Can you
literally,
explain?
like I don't make people feel comfortable anymore. I'm just like this last 3 months of me being inside with my cats has turned me absolutely feral.
Me too, though. Like, it's okay. It really is okay. You'll be fine. You'll live.
Yeah.
We got this. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started and actually discuss what we're going to talk about. So the Shady Hoes, we actually discussed this. We briefly touched base on this during our last one, that we were going to do a book episode for all the book nerds out there. And so I think now would be a good time to do it. Do the damn thing. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
So, ladies, now's your chance to tell me what are some of your favorite books. And this, of course, doesn't have to be new. This can be, older, as you were a kid reading. Well, I was about to say Rambo.
I was not reading Rambo, but I was watching Reading
Oh
Rainbow.
Hugo.
Reading
No, I
Rainbow.
was thinking
Sorry.
like that puppy, that C Spot Run, but it's like a golden retriever puppy. I don't know. Anyway, what are your favorite
His name
books
was
and your
Spot.
favorite Spot? And what are your favorite authors? Somebody take the floor.
Amanda was first.
Yes.
Do you want me to go first?
Yes,
You're probably
ma'am.
going to the damn bathroom. And you hear her running back. It was me.
Okay, y'all. Okay, Tia, my cat is a fucking menace. Okay, so she literally starts pissing on this blanket in front of me, and y'all are talking, and I'm literally like, I know she's not, and she is. So I like run over, and then you guys are like, and I'm like, fuck. And it's like, and now my Roomba's going on. My life is just. She's talking to me. I don't know what she's saying. Anyway,
Baby, take his
She's
Xanax.
saying, "Tell us your
my
favorite book,
favorite
Amanda."
book. You
No,
want
this
to know
doesn't
what
have to
my
be
favorite book is?
the Comic
What
Sutra.
I feel like Terry. I'm sorry, Lynette Scavo from Desperate Housewives, the one with all the badass kids. Like that's literally how I feel.
Oh my god.
But anyway, I digress. So my favorite books, definitely as a kid, were the American Girl books. Boy, my
Oh, okay.
yes, like my specific favorite American Girl was Molly and Samantha. Bro, couldn't tell me shit. I loved Molly just because I identified with her a lot, and I thought Samantha was like really pretty. Everybody used to tell me like I used to look like Samantha as a kid. So, yeah, and then Felicity, I just love like the 17th, you know, century bullshit. I was living for it. But as I got, I was just those were like my favorite chapter books and like Babysitter's Club. So then
Oh, I forgot about those.
oh my God,
Babysitter's
it was
Club was top
top
tier.
tier. Like I love those books. I was like, hashtag feminism. I was not like when I was a little girl, I was not the girl that was like, I don't want to be girly. I was the girl that was like, yes, bitch, I am girly. Fuck all y'all. Like literally, I was that kid. And so
She was that kid.
I was that kid. Like literally, my teachers were annoyed with me. They're like, "This child is gonna get nowhere," and they're low key a little bit right. So, because I've not been employed for 3 months. Did I tell y'all that anyway?
She's had
Did.
a lot of time to read.
No, actually, yes, that's all I've been. Period. So I'm gonna segue. So that's all. So that's pretty much all I've been doing since I've been unemployed. Has been reading. I bide my time by going into little cafes downtown and reading my little
Oh, that's
books. Yeah,
nice.
it's so nice. It's the only way I get human interaction. And
I love it.
so yeah, it's great. I read a lot of Darcy Coates. She's like this horror author. I love her books because she just really does make it fucking scary. Like you think it'd be a book, like it's a book, you can just put that shit down, but like she draws you in, but you're like, oh my god, it's so scary, so fucking scary. And you're just like, the entire time, and it's like a roller coaster and but you're so invested you can't get off. So yeah, that's yeah.
I know that
Okay.
feeling.
Okay.
I definitely know that feeling. Grace, I'm going to let you go because mine's going to have a little bit of a rant on mine, so you can go.
You think mine's not?
Well, I
But
mean,
okay.
yours will, but mine's probably going to be longer. I don't know. Maybe it won't.
Okay. So like I I always liked reading, like since I was, little. Because of course you like learn reading in like first grade, and I had read. I remember Harold and the Purple Crayon, and I
Boy.
was like, this is fucking awesome. And so then, when you're in elementary school, they put you on like a reading level, and then that was technically out of my reading level, so I had to check stuff out that was like in my reading level, and I hated it because it was like those spot books where it's like, see spot, run,
Oh,
run
God.
spot, run. And I
No.
remember thinking at like the age of like 6, being like, these books are horrible. I hate these. So I was always wanting to read stuff like on
Yes.
my own outside of what I had to read at school. And there are like 3 specific books from my childhood that I remember that were like some of my favorites that I would check out like repeatedly from the
Yes.
library. And it's like you think these would be like fun little children's books, but no, these are like books that were written in like 1920 that I
You're
like
an old
just
spirit. I remember, yeah, I
latched.
did shit like that too. I remember one time in the 6th grade, I tried to check out um, African American doctors in modern medicine. And my mom was
Oh my
like,
god.
"Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to learn about blah, blah, blah." And the librarian's looking at my mom like, "Is your kid okay?" Like, sorry, did not mean to
So
like
Making of a
interrupt.
murderer.
speaking of murder, in one of the books, there's three.
Period.
So one of the ones that I remember reading a lot, which was written, I just looked these up so I would know, 1936. It was a book called Roller
Mm.
Skates. Now, are either of you have any idea about the book Roller
No, but I'm
Skates?
No.
interested.
Okay, so basically it's about this like little girl, and she, I think they live in like New York City. I think in like the late 1800s is when this book took place. Um, and so the narrator was like the 10-year-old little girl, and she like meets people like so because her parents go away on their trip because they're rich, and so she's like hanging out with like old ladies like in the apartment building. And I remember a specific part of this story is that like she goes into an apartment at one point, and there's just like a dead, like the woman that lived there has died and she's just on the
Oh
floor.
shit.
And I remember that scarring me as a
How
little
old were you,
child.
Grace? How
um
old were you when you
but I was probably like fourth or fifth grade,
stop?
in the library just
I'm
getting
gonna
these
Oh
books.
my
have to look this
gosh.
book up.
Red flags.
So it like I enjoyed the book because it's one of those books, what I always like call like the slice of life books. Like these are, oh, this is the girl who's learning things, and
Is
blah
it
blah blah. And I remember that one. I remember reading that one. One that I also read, which was written in 1916, that I was obsessed with, was a book called Understood
okay?
Betsy. Either if you find Understood Betsy in your libraries. No?
No.
Girl, I
Okay.
was
So
reading Mary
basically,
Downingham. Okay, she did anyway.
so Understood Betsy, which is what I remembered. It's basically this girl is like an orphan who goes to live with I think it's her aunt and uncle on a farm, and so she gets to learn the farm life, and they like nickname her Betsy, and it's about her like learning how to make butter, and she like gets to hang out with the kittens by the wood fire stove, and she like reads stories, and it's her just getting to like learn this new farm life. And I just really fucking love that as a child. And there's that. I also grew up on kind of like a farm, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but
It probably
that
did.
one specifically.
It probably did.
And then the one that I like really liked that I wish I could find somewhere to buy, and I have tried to look and I have not been able to find this book. It's called My Lives and How I Lost Them by County Cullen, and it's about a cat. And the book is him from a kitten to adult explaining all of his lives and like his adventures, and then he like is on his last life telling you this story. And it was just one of my favorite books. Like all his
Wow.
story. And I have never been able to find it again,
Because it's
and I
out of
wish I
print.
could.
It's out of print. That's why.
Oh my
I
god.
know, because it was like written in the 1940s, like all these books that I
God
wanted to read when I was
dang,
in
your
like
library was
Oh well,
underfunded.
there's one.
it was.
There's a copy. I found a copy. It's on Abe Books, and if you want to shell out $45 for it, you can get it there.
I mean, I'll think
She
about
gonna
it
think
Oh,
about
because I
it.
just
there's some used ones in here for like $21.
because I loved that book. It was like because you can see in these pictures I'm looking. It's a thin little book, but I love that book. And then like the other series that I read aside from those three books specifically that I remember by name is I read like the Berenstein Bears chapter books, which
Oh,
love
I love
those.
and Little Bear. I loved Little Bear.
Oh yes. So now they had the Berenstein Bears books, and then they had like chapter books. So specifically, like I ate these chapter books.
Never mind.
Like I was like, yes, keep giving them, to the point where I was like in the library one day, just like pulling these books off the shelves to check out. And I specifically remember the librarian coming over to me going, I don't think you need to check all these out today, honey. And we just looked down at this pile of books
Aww.
I had like, and I was like, okay.
I've been like, fuck you, that bitch.
But
Woof, woof,
yeah.
woof.
So those are the ones I read. Like I have more. Obviously, I could continue to go, but then I feel like it's TJ's turn. But go ahead, TJ.
Well, let's okay, so what we're going to first start off with is we're going to kind of go off of yours with the Bernstein Bears. First, I want to talk about this. Like, I always remember Bernstein Bears being spelled BERENSTEIN. Okay, don't come at me with this AIN. I would. It wasn't stain. Okay, like a stain in your pants. It wasn't stain. I don't ever remember that. Anyway,
my brain remembered it being E, but you know,
what else? Leave us. I'm not saying leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. But I swear there was an E in it. Anyway, so as a kid, that the Bernstein Bears was one of the ones I loved. I loved Trouble at School. I always found that one funny. But I was also one of those that was like, I think my love for reading came, and we talked about this on our past episode too. It was like the book fairs. So
yes.
So and that's where I kind of got it because everybody around me was like trying to like grab pins and shit, and I was like, oh my god, Goosebumps. Okay, so I like Goosebumps. And then the Bernstein Bears, and okay, so I like Matilda and Willy Wonka. I like those.
Roald Dahl,
yes.
So those were like when I was in school. But then what really got me on to like fully reading, and this is where my rant is going to come in, is probably going to make a lot of people listening, if they have differing opinions, really mad, but I don't care because I'm upset. Okay, so Harry Potter was what really got me into reading. Okay. Like, I absorbed the shit out of those books. I remember when Harry Potter, the first one came out, and me and my mom were in Walmart, and she was like, oh, this looks good. Do you want to read this? And I was like, I guess. Oh, well, sure, I guess. And then I got into it. And I was like, fuck. So I loved it. I loved everything about it. And, I'm glad that I got to finish the series before the author became a literal twat and said that, like, every trans person needs to be fucking killed and, like, making really fucking rude ass. She was, okay, so did you not, see all the shit that she was liking and talking about?
Okay, no, because I never read Harry Potter. I read like up to the 3rd book, and I thought she was like irrelevant. So like always, even before this. So no.
So basically she expressed, and this was, I think, about, it could have been earlier than that, but I really remember it because I know I was in Americas. So I was in Americas, and this would have been maybe about 2018 or so.
Oh, wow.
But she was making a lot of Twitter posts and everything, talking about, you may identify as a woman, but you're not going to really be a woman.
Oh my god.
And things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And basically things like that. And the way I see this, and I've talked to Dylan about this too, and he agrees with me. The way I see this, it's kind of like how Chick-fil-A is just like, all the gays, y'all need to die. That's how they pretty much think.
Yeah.
And I just feel like businesses or public influencers should just keep their fucking mouth shut.
Should. Yeah.
Period.
They should.
Because the people that you have out there now, this is really dividing the people that looked up to you, and I think that's what hurts most.
Yeah.
Because now being once a very, very avid fan, I watch Fantastic Beasts. Whenever I watch it, I'm just like, fuck, I feel torn because I don't want to watch this because I don't want to support this bitch, but I like the movie and I like everything about it. So it gets really, and I talked to Grace about this too, because the new Harry Potter game is coming out. That's like super big, and I'm going to fucking play it. But I also did read that J.K. Rowling had nothing to do with it. So
Good. Fuck her.
except for the fact that they're using her idea, like the houses and everything. She had no input into it.
Good. Fuck her.
So that's kind of where my rant is, because I was tempted to write this woman a letter, like ranting to her about, but because like it really fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Like you get so invested in this, and then somebody that you looked up to like completely. She was going on, and there was this one business that sold a lot of like anti-trans merchandise, talking about like how trans people should be killed, this, that, and the other, and whatnot. And she would go and share their media and like their stuff and like stuff like that, and it got leaked. Okay, that stuff actually got leaked that she had did that. So there was no, oh, you're making this up. No, it was on the internet and it was leaked. So that's the kind of shit that I don't appreciate, and that's why I pretty much threw all of my Harry Potter books out, because as much as I love them, I'm not going to support this bitch. So,
I mean, fair.
I didn't mean to like go on a big rant about that, but that has really wounded my fucking soul.
I'm so sorry. That is terrible. Like that. I wish people, would keep it to themselves, honestly, because just having everybody's entitled to their opinion, but if you're set, like,
True.
the public image is like different than you as a person, I feel like, especially when you're like an author of such an illustrious book, and then like your fan,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, everybody is entitled to their opinion, but you should make those in your private life and not in your like main Twitter account. You know what I mean? Like, she was like,
Well, and you know what makes this worse? What makes this worse about her is the fact that she's an author of a popular children's book.
right.
It's not like she's like fucking Stephen King, who writes adult horror fiction. Like, she's an influencer over children.
Right. Like, I'd
Of all
expect this
things.
behavior out of somebody who writes like fucking dinosaur erotica, but like not like
Ma'am, are you
I'm not
attacking me?
attacking you, Grace. I literally, when you posted those in the group chat, they made my day. Okay, so I just want to do that, but that's only like, I understand like somebody, or somebody who writes like obviously like Confederate history books. Like, yeah, of course they're gonna have like very, but like anyway, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I mean, like, maybe it was a little extreme to throw my Harry Potter series away, but like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like the whole women burning their bras because they're fed up with shit.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's just like, I can't find it in myself to try and give you even more money just so you can preach more hate against people. I mean, I'm not trans, but I mean, my point is, I still stand with the LGBTQ. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all there is to it. So I'm not going to show my support for somebody that wishes we were dead.
Right. Like, I do not support hate in any capacity. So whether that be hate against people you don't agree with, people you just don't affirm their lifestyle. Like, I understand criticism, but straight up hate and like wishing these people would not exist any longer is like, that's
Yeah.
terrible. That's not okay. So anyway.
Well, what was funny, me and Grace talked about the fact in the Fantastic Beasts, I can't remember his name, the one that played Newt. We were talking that it was funny that how so he's the main character in her movie, right?
Yeah.
But he's also the one that played in the God, what was that?
The Danish Girl.
The Danish Girl. He was a trans woman in the Danish Girl. He's a cross-dresser. I don't know if he considered. I don't know.
It was trans.
It was trans. Okay, yeah, trans. So I thought that was pretty funny. Huh. Anyway, let's. I digress. Grace, pull me out of my my looming state of anger towards her. Let's talk about something
so
else.
I was thinking of some other random books that I, because as I'm sitting here thinking, what other books did I read? Speaking of book fair, there was a book I bought at the book fair called The Doll People that I was obsessed with. Did anybody read The Doll People?
No, I'd never heard of it.
Okay, so The Doll People, which I literally read that book so many times, like the cover fell off because it was like a paperback, like a children's one. It had illustrations in it, but it was like the story of like these China dolls that lived in the dollhouse, and they were alive all the time, like Toy Story, and they would, they belonged to this little girl, and one of the dolls went missing. The ant doll went missing, and they never knew what happened to her. So like the main character is like the daughter of the little girl family in the Victorian doll house, and she would like sneak out at night to try to look around the actual house to find what happened to the ant doll. And it was like this mystery, and she meets this new doll who belongs to like the little sister, and they go on this adventure together. And it was just one of my like favorite like books, because it was like dolls, because I'm obsessed with dolls. It was a really fun book. And I do vividly remember like the story of that one. So that was a fun one. And like on a different strain, because like book fair makes me think of school. So what books do you guys remember having to read in school? Because I specifically remember one of the books I had to read being Hatchet, and I like hated
Why?
Hatchet. And I know that like there's standards that say we need to read these books, but like,
So
why?
as a
You
high
know,
What
I
are
don't
some
schooler,
of
even.
these?
sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
did not mean. Okay,
Go ahead.
so I liked the books we read in school, mostly because I was fucking lame,
Whichever one you want.
but I really liked so up until my 10th grade AP literature class, I really enjoyed fucking literature in any capacity. I didn't mind reading the classics. I actually really enjoyed like Tom Sawyer and like shit like that. And so basically the worst book I think I ever read was William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying, okay? William Faulkner, if he wasn't dead, jail. Okay, basically the mom dies in the book, and like I blocked most of this book out because it's so fucked up, but like there's incest. One of the brothers fucks a horse, and literally I had to take a test on why does William Faulkner insinuate that this character fucking fucked a horse, and you're just over here like, what the fuck, why am I, and I'm like, I'm literally 16, I don't think I should be doing this. And then like then the next book after that was it was like, so the Poisonwood Bible. That
Oh yeah.
okay. They're literally like, why that bitch hate her daughter? Like what the fuck? It's so fucked up. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I literally told my mom, and I was like, Mom, can I like go back to the fucking remedial class? And she goes, Amanda, why? She's like, you love to read. Like, I just want to point this out. Like, my mother always had a book in her hand, and she's part of the reason why I still love to read. Like, she's passed on, but every time I finish a book, I always think of her. But I was like, Mom, I really don't want to be in Miss Courtney's class anymore. And she goes, why, Amanda? You love to read. I thought this would be perfect for you. And I was like, Mom, we just read a book about why a little girl with special needs was abandoned by her mom in a fucking like crisis, and like she lived after to remember it. My mom was like, boy, what the fuck? But she didn't let me
Uh,
remedial, so sorry. Yeah, there's that.
wow.
So, speaking of, I know Lord of the Flies. We read that one.
Oh, I hated
Didn't
that one.
get that one. I remember of Mice and Men.
I
The end
loved
of
Of
that
Mice
book.
and Men.
Did I mean,
The
the
ending
ending got me. I was like, no,
was
no, thank
really
you.
fucked up. That was so sad, but like it was written really well. Did you guys have to read Speak?
No.
No.
I don't think so. I don't recall that one. Let me look at a
Did you
picture.
see the movie like with Kristen Stewart? It was like Kristen Stewart before Twilight. It's where like spoiler alert, she gets sexually assaulted at a party, and everybody's like bullying her and nobody believes her until her like assailant later on in the book tries to assault her again. And then like they catch him,
Mm.
and everybody's like, "Oh no, we didn't believe you." And yeah.
Yeah, did
But
not
you
read
do
that one.
now.
But like to be fair, during like my high school days, I was mostly into like fantasy books, like my personal
Yeah.
reading, because I was reading like having to read other classics and like literature. So I didn't really do too many. I guess what you would call like the YA like books of the time. I was
Yeah.
like reading like more of the adult
Oh
like
yeah.
fantasy, and so I didn't really actually start reading like actually young adult fiction until like I got in college. So I kind of like flipped myself. There was this book series I used to read. I'm gonna look up this book because I can't remember the series, um, but I like remember loving it. Someone fill me in while I look up this book series.
Um, well, while she's looking that up, I know our viewers can't see this, but I just posted in our Shady Ho Show chat, the cover. Cassandra Clare has a new book coming out, and me and Grace talked about this one. I love her books, but also I have a hate for her books because, like, I love that they're so imaginative, but they're also like so long.
Oh
She's kind of like the
god.
Stephen King. She's kind of like the Stephen King of YA literature. Like she draws out
Yeah.
everything kind of. But let me tell you, this bitch. Let me. Her book covers are fucking fire. Like let me. Oh my god, I love her book covers. That's the reason that I actually started the series was her book covers. So this girl right here, she know what the fuck she doing. Good job, Sandra.
Good job, Sandra.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job, girl. Ah.
Y'all, so
I
like,
mean,
what is
yeah.
your like what's your like you wouldn't like admit that you read these, but like your favorite like
Really?
I guess
Really?
what did you say?
I was like, really? You think I wouldn't admit the
Okay,
shit I've
well
read?
I wouldn't admit it because I have shit. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, the fake laugh. Grace is gonna kill me in my sleep.
we're feeling awkward now.
Okay, I just like literally like books in high school that I like would not admit that I read. Honestly, I really enjoyed children's literature. I want to circle back especially with what Grace said like children's literature, like vintage children's literature was top tier. Like they bared no fucking like they wanted children to know the world is horrible and fuck you like dead ass like especially like in Little House on the Prairie like when that little girl goes
What?
blind and literally like just what like just crazy shit bro like or there was a book by called One-Eyed Cat by Paula Fox that I loved reading and it was apparently like this child's mother was extremely disabled and she was like only free and deaf like it's great so great. I read that in the 5th grade.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh, let me take a minute and shout out Apple Books. Um, Apple Books, if you're
oh,
listening,
I remember Apple Books Publishing.
with if you're not, if you, I hope you're listening because I want y'all to hear this. How is
Oh
it,
wait, you're talking about your app. I was talking about Apple Books Publishing. Never mind. No.
girl? Get with the times. Anyway, um, you made me lose my train of thought. Apple Books, the app. If
They
you're
put
listening,
Barack
Oh
buttfuck in his
Lord.
book.
yes. If you're listening, I haven't used your app in over like 12 years. So how about when I go in, because I thought, oh, I'm going to read Alice in Wonderland, because I remembered I actually downloaded that on the app. And I go in there and I'm seeing all these books I ain't ever download. One of them was I think it was like I had sex with my next door neighbor and I had a big shirtless man on there.
Yes.
Or no, I think no, they used much graphic language. It was like I fucked my next door neighbor, and I was like,
Oh
bitch.
Lord.
Now I know I used to be adventurous before I was like when I was single, but I don't remember downloading this. And then there was one that said it was new. Bitch, I ain't opened this app in so long. And what was it called, Grace?
Of course.
It was like
That Barack
Oh
buttfucker.
God.
yeah,
Barack buttfuck.
like hello. So
Hmm.
I had to spend time convincing my fiance that I had not downloaded that and was reading
Did
it.
Dylan
So
actually
Apple, I
care?
no, he don't give a
Oh,
fuck.
okay. I was like,
He don't give a
damn.
fuck.
Speaking of, I think I found this book series. I think it's the Xanth
Okay.
books, and I don't know if I would still like them at like because I was reading them when I was like 17, and I was like books fantasy because wanted to
What you
read
do?
things. Speaking of like fantasy books, like I read specifically. Middle school. I don't know if either of you are familiar with
Oh my
Tamora
god, my
Pierce.
sister was so crazy and feral over her books.
Yes. I loved her books.
No.
Wild Magic was like boss series. I love that one. And of course she has so many, but like the Alana the Lioness, which that series, the girl going to become a knight. So yeah, I like those were like my imagination, fantasy things that I was reading a lot
Oh,
too.
Maladaptive
But I do remember
Beatrice.
her being like definitive.
what about Chronicles of Narnia?
Yes, I did read those too. Also in middle school, I did read those.
Yes, I
Prince
love.
Caspian. I like that
Yes,
one a lot. I know there's a bunch of books in the series, but I don't remember all the names of
I
each
love the
one.
movies. The movies are great.
Those are beautiful.
Oh, and the music.
Music top tier. Yes.
The music was just like chef's kiss. Mwah. Okay.
Best, 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 best.
Okay. Cool. So, moving onwards. Now we're gonna put me on a soapbox real quick because I'm gonna rant about something else.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh. No, we're gonna talk about. Me and Grace had mentioned this in a chat about YA writing. I don't know, Amanda. First off, Amanda, how much YA books have you read? Like, do
Okay,
you read YA?
no, not really. I do
Okay.
I kind of dabble in it, but not really. I mostly read books that are designed for middle-aged women, not gonna lie.
Okay. So for YA books, we're kind of talking about like, if you're like, well, what is it? So we're talking about like Twilight is considered YA.
Okay.
YA
Yeah.
books. The Divergent series
Okay.
was considered YA.
Yeah, like Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Yeah, like a lot of the box office movies that came out were most likely
Yeah, they
YA.
were. It's like The Giver and all that.
The Giver, the movie was so good.
Maze Runner.
Then I
Maze
definitely
Runner.
do not read YA like that. I was thinking like genuinely like anyway.
So yeah,
And like the 100 that they made the TV show on, that's a YA book series.
yeah, and so I had told Grace that back in 2015, 2016, I'm telling y'all like the 2015 to let's say 2017 ish, 2016 that time was like, for me at least, a golden age for music, for books. It seemed like people had their shit together. Like I loved it. So like I devoured the Divergent series. Okay, I loved it.
Bruh, the last book made me so mad.
We don't talk about the last book, but
It didn't need to end that way.
It
It
did
was
not.
not necessary.
I got really mad that they didn't
Like, and this
finish.
is not even like me being like mad about it. Like, oh no, this is such a good ending. I'm so sad. No, like really, that didn't need to happen. That was for shock factor, and she did
God, they
not need
really
to do
Hell
that.
yeah.
Thank you.
I got really mad too, the fact they didn't finish the damn movie. I was like, hello, you left us on the biggest fucking cop block ever. Like, can you not? Like, they did because they were going to be cool like the Harry Potter and do a part 1.
Harry Potter.
Bitch, if you're going to do a part 1, at least do fucking part 2 because we want to see what happens. But whatever. Anyway, I digress. So now, the thing that kind of triggers me now, and I talked to Grace about this. I didn't talk to Amanda about this, but I've been trying to start reading a little bit more. I have this big thing with me, like whenever I pick up a book, my mind wanders a lot, and then I sit there and think, well, I should be doing something else, and so that distracts me, and then I stop. I can't actually ever just sit down and read. So I'm trying to work on that, and I've been doing a lot more audiobooks too.
Yeah.
That's kind of helped. But I'm going to bring up a book. Let me see if I can find it. So I told Grace about this one book that I had checked out from the library, and I was trying to read more like LGBT, books, cute little books that are like, kind of like fuzzy and warm and fuzzy and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I told her that I couldn't even get off the first fucking like 8 pages of the damn book. It seems like YA writers that are doing like, we're not necessarily saying like the fantasy, because when you go into the fantasy, it seems like when you go into like the YA fantasy genre, it's not as bad. But
Yeah.
when you go into like the romancy, kind of like real world
Yeah,
genre,
like the modern day, yeah, like the slice of life ones. It's the ones I
Yeah.
call those where they could be taking place
Oh, I
now.
picked
yeah,
up one of
Which I
those.
think
Yeah.
is because I think those are. I'm just taking over TJ soapbox because I feel the same
Ah.
way.
yeah,
Is that any of them that they're setting in modern day time with teenagers and they're not being
Oh
written by
my god.
teenagers and they're shoehorning pop culture
Yeah.
into it, which like is I think is a problem in like modern day books that they're setting in modern day. Whereas when you do it in fantasy, you have your own fantasy rules, you can make up your own lingo, you can make up how things work, and it's easier to suspend your
Yeah.
disbelief that this is, how these teens might talk in this other world in this unnamed time period. But TJ was sending me some screenshots from that particular book he was reading, so I'll give it back to him now.
Oh god.
um, so it just kind of it really irritates me because they try and sound like fucking Zoomers. Okay, you have like
Zoomers.
40-year-olds that literally try and sound like they're
That
13.
is so
Um,
cringe.
and and like one of the books that I'm reading, and I'm bound and determined to finish it, but it's taking me really long because like the writing on this is so fucking bad. Like I feel like when you start trying to add so much fucking pop culture into this until your writing is just really bad, that's an
Yeah,
issue.
that is.
So like here's an excerpt from one of the books. Okay, it says scamming his sister is also a perk. Maybe, he says, dragging out the vowels. June swats him with the magazine like he's an especially obnoxious cockroach. That's cheating, you dick.
What?
Um, I don't know why that triggered me as much as it did. Like,
I think in the sense it's like it's supposed to be teens, and if you're not a teen, it's hard to write in that lingo. Like I said, unless you're very well versed in it, but like when you try to use like hip stuff and hip descriptions, it makes it sound like.
you know
But
what
then
it
again, I'm aware I'm like
you know
32,
what it
and
kind
these
of looks
books are
like
not
in
for
my
me.
head.
But
You know what it looks like in my head. So picture a high school or picture middle school, okay? Because that's kind of where this would be kind of aimed towards. It's like maybe middle school ish, you know. So you picture all these like middle school age kids, and then you see like this 40 to 50-year-old man wearing a backwards hat, a fucking basketball
don't give me the
jersey,
bagel bites,
17
man.
again.
like the fucking like the sunglasses, the Michael Jackson, a pullover, the high tops, and he's like, "Yo, what's up, dogs?" That's what it
Not
makes me
my
think of
fellow
because it's like
dudes.
this. Because it looks like that's what it makes me feel
Yes,
like.
that
Because it's just like, you are so out of place here. And this is what when I see writing like this, it comes out to me as being forced. If that makes sense, it's read when I read it. It feels like they were forcing this,
It doesn't
and
flow
like I've never.
generically. Yeah, like gen-
Yeah, exactly. It just seems like they're just trying to find. It just feels like they're just trying to talk like a teenager, and I don't know. Like that just triggers me, and I've been noticing it a lot. The reason why it's triggering me so much is like literally before that book that I just read from you, the one I'm on now, I had tried reading one, literally right before it that I just returned back to the library like literally the next day
Oh
because I thought
damn.
I can't do this. I was like, I can't do this. This is fucking awful.
Oh my.
I was like,
I've had
no
a few
thanks.
like that.
So
Which there's one I remember specifically that's a YA book, and again I'm like prefacing with the fact that like I know I'm 32 and these books are written for people that are like literally half my age. I get that, but like, like there's a book that I know is like really popular, and this came out in 2010, like when I was like just past like being youngy. It was Anna and the French Kiss. Does anybody know that one?
yeah,
I haven't watched that
It
one.
I hated it. So it's also one of the ones that a lot of adult books do this too, but like I find it worse in like teen books because it's more impressionable people
Yeah.
read those, but it falls into the I'm not like
Uh,
other girls, I'm best
yeah.
girl like
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, do I?
Because
yeah.
like she's over in Paris and this really popular boy only has
Of
eyes for her,
course.
and the mat, and I'm like, these
They
just
set up children,
I
like
can't.
young women, for failure. Like, um, I don't know. I don't like books that set up. I know they're like supposed to be just for enjoyment, but I feel like for young adult books, it's kind of like I think a lot of like my peers like modeled their like love life after that, like naively. I don't know.
Well, I think, yeah, with like a lot of, especially in, I say, like teen books, because those are the ones I'd read a lot of at the time, and I read adult romance
Yeah.
too, and of course, it's from a different vein, and it's like Sophie Kinsella. I like her books. I like Rainbow Rowell, and she does teen fiction romance really well,
Yeah,
and
Rainbow
she is one of my
Rowell,
favorite
like
authors.
I enjoyed. But the funny thing about this is, and this is the thing that just kind of floors me. I didn't start noticing this issue until like maybe 2020
Okay.
is when I started. So, and that's why I say like 2015 and 2016, in that time frame before we actually entered like the 20s, like 2020s and whatnot. Um,
Mhm.
Sorry.
the writing seemed to be better. Like, I
Yes.
mean, okay, who remembers? Did anybody read The Fault in Our Stars?
I was about to say, you're gonna John Green this,
John.
where like
Sorry.
I,
Sorry.
I,
um,
I
where
am.
his characters really aren't that great, because again, a lot of the female, no offense, John Green, like you do you, boo,
He's not.
but like it's more of the broody, dark female, like what is it called, manic
Angsty.
pixie dream
Oh
girl
God,
thing.
the opposite
Oh,
of the manic
yeah.
pixie. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of in that particular time
Yeah.
period too, like the romance books were really like tailing on the manic pixie dream girl, like I'm gonna heal everything that's wrong with you, and I'm so quirky, and like I'm gonna chain smoke, blah blah
I'm a
blah,
me
things like
too.
that. Which I was never really a big fan of that particular like genre, which is why I read so much fantasy, because I just it was hard to find one that I could stomach like seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why I read a lot more. I read a lot more YA fantasy now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
like YA fantasy typically tends to be pretty solid because they don't want to overwhelm you, like we talked about when we were. So TJ and I did NaNoWriMo, which, if you're not familiar, is the National Novel Writing Month in November, and we were testing some things out in Hemingway. So we started
Oh
like
jeez.
we
because it
realized
tells
that we were
you.
like our writing capabilities is not good. According to the app.
No, not necessarily.
God.
Because what Hemingway would do is you put your stuff in, and it gives you like a grade level for reading because you want to have your stuff, easy to understand, easy to read. And we were like, well, let's stick some fucking
Oh
Tolkien in here.
God.
Let's stick some
And that shit was
and
like
we're like, oh
college
my
level.
god.
It was like, oh, this is college level. I thought, fuck. I think I was like maybe third grade level. I was like, oh
Yes,
man.
but then we went and looked at the facts, the FAQ, and it's like the lower you want your reading level to be like third and fourth grade because you want it to be able to be understood and not overcomplicated and not like make it a chore for people
Yeah.
to read,
But
which is
that's the
why I never
truth.
really could finish Lord of the
Me
Rings
neither.
because there
Me
was like so
neither.
much shit in it.
And
And I'm
Game of
like,
Thrones,
fuck all these people.
Game of Thrones was
Yes,
the same
I
way with
don't
me.
care about all this food.
Oh my God. Yo, I'm low key like
Like
actually.
especially like when
We're
Yeah.
interrupting
It's good.
you
Amanda.
have so many characters and everything, it also gets really hard to remember who said what.
Right? Like I don't need 12,000 I need like my main characters, and they need to have names that I can easily tell apart. They don't need to start with like A or some shit like.
Tashwanjia, yeah, yeah.
Stop it. Oh my God.
Amanda, what do you want to say? What do you want to say,
No,
Amanda,
I
baby?
don't know.
We
I'm just
interrupted you.
like
I'm
listening to
sorry.
y'all talk because I remember y'all posting about it on Facebook and shit. And I was just like, damn, I'm dumb as fuck. Because I was like, doo doo doo. I'm not going to write. I'm going to write my stupid little fan fictions. Like, I don't, y'all are just
No, fan fiction I think is top tier. Everybody should write and read fan
no
fiction, no
shame
shame.
We're
whatsoever.
gonna just so y'all know, we're gonna be having a friend fiction part 2. You know it.
Friend.
We're gonna have
Yeah,
to.
no, literally, friend fiction is amazing.
But NaNoWriMo, like it almost kicked my ass. Like literally every single fucking day, I did nothing but write. I wanted to cry.
Aww.
Because and I don't think you knew about this, Amanda, but Grace knew about it because I was like yelling in my phone. I wasn't yelling at her, but I was like irritated because I kept changing my story first off.
Oh,
So like
God.
we're maybe like 5 days.
The fuck you did.
We're like 5 days into it, right? And
Aw.
I had to I literally I essentially deleted like 8,000 words in one day
Stop
to
it.
rewrite it. And I had to
He
basically
did.
and then I but luckily though, and Grace is my witness, I got caught up like the next day.
Oh my
So
He
God.
did.
um but yeah, if
But yeah,
you buy Grace's new book, you'll get to see that she gave me a shout out. I feel special.
Oh, I
I
didn't
do.
get a shout
I'm also
out,
typed
babe.
in
I
Fuck
actually.
you. I'm just kidding.
I
Well, Amanda, you'll get a shout out when I actually finish the Bigfoot book because yeah, which I am working on now that I finally did NaNoWriMo, and I think I was able to complete NaNoWriMo only because me and TJ were just all the time NaNoWriMo talking like, did you get
Oh
your
my
words today? Did you
God.
get your words today?
yeah, like
Did
Did you
you
get
get
your
your
words
words
me
today?
today?
yeah, like me and her were like,
Yes.
I think, and I know if it wasn't for Grace, in all honesty, I probably would have ducked out. Like, but
Oh
me and her,
Christ.
we kind of made a pact throughout. They were just like, we gotta finish this, right? Because we're gonna do this
Yeah,
next
because we had
year,
tried like NaNoWriMo like for like 4 years
and
and
it
we
never
never
worked
actually
out.
completed
But
it.
bitch, it
Yeah.
did now.
So
Also,
I actually
yeah. So
did
also,
complete it.
if you get her book, if you get a physical copy, and if you turn it on if you turn it on the back, you'll see a little review on there. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
TJ read my book and helped me edit. So yeah, my book will be on Amazon. You can get an ebook, a paperback, or a hardback, and it's called Little Miss Dead Girl. And it's not super long. It's only like about I think 150 pages. But I just wanted to do that thing for my bucket list. So buy my book, and then I am still working on Bigfoot book, but I had to take a lot of break last year for things. But now I have been outlining it, Amanda. I am like getting it like solidified. I'm ready,
Oh,
working on it. I'm probably gonna work on it some tomorrow.
awesome.
Amanda,
Yay.
are you gonna do NaNoWriMo with us next year?
I'm sorry, can you repeat
'Cause
that?
are you gonna do NaNoWriMo with us next year?
I'll do NaNoWriMo with you guys next year.
Because Grace, I
Yes!
didn't even ask Grace because she's going to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She's going to do it with me again. This
Okay.
is like a tradition now, and we're
Yeah,
probably
so we'll do NaNoWriMo.
yeah. I think it'll be fun. We're all going to cry.
We're
There
all
will be
gonna
tears.
cry. We're all gonna be miserable.
Well,
All right.
the thing about it is, like, when we went into NaNoWriMo, I thought we weren't going to do it because I kept asking Grace. I was like, "Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it?" And she was like, And then like I thought, okay, well, I guess we're not. I was like, I guess we're not going to do it. Okay, fine, sure. And then legit, this bitch comes and she fucking messages me like 2 days before fucking November hits, and she's like,
Stop.
"So we doing NaNoWriMo?" And I was like, "Bitch, I'm gonna fucking smack the shit out of
Excuse
you,"
me?
because like.
You know that October was a long month for me.
Like literally, everybody that participates in NaNoWriMo takes the whole month of fucking October to prep for their NaNoWriMo.
Oh
And then
God.
here I am. I'm like, I guess we ain't doing it. And then this bitch is like, let's go, let's do NaNoWriMo. And I'm just like, hello? I hadn't plotted out a book. I didn't have an idea. Let me tell y'all this. My book went from being a fucking gay romance
Oh
to
my
being
God.
about being a gay romance, and then it transitioned into a book about fucking demons, and then it transitioned into a book about demons and wizards, and then it just transitioned to a book about wizards. So I don't even know where that
Stop.
book is. It is somewhere.
It did. His book's all over the place, but we
He's
tried.
trying. Damn Grace. Jeez,
Let me tell you,
guys.
bitch, it hit 50,000. So head shake, okay, hair flip. I did
Okay.
it. There's-
Well, we have about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to hijack us for a little bit more book talk. So, questioning here, because, in our last bit, 2022 is behind us, and I know that we all tried to read books last year. So I want to know what everybody's one of their favorite books they read last year. Mine specifically, like a book I did not think I was going to enjoy, but I'd like legit read it in like a day, was the Jeanette McCurdy book where she wrote "I'm Glad My Mom Died." Again, this is not related to my mom, don't take it that way, but
even though she
she did write
blatantly
the book.
laughed out loud when she said it in the intro.
So but I read her book in like a day. I really enjoyed that book, surprisingly. It's like a really raw and candid look at like emotional manipulative mothers and things. which, I love my mother, but of course, my mother, it'd be lying to say we didn't have
Yeah.
issues. But it was a really good book to read because it's always nice to read, about someone else and their mom, to know you're like, oh, we're not the only people that have issues. But obviously hers were much, much worse than mine. But it was a really good book to read. If either of you have not read it, I would recommend reading it or listening to the audiobook. She reads it herself.
Aw.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
have to.
nice. Amanda,
All
you
right, who's
go.
next?
Amanda, you go.
Migo? Okay. Um so sorry.
Is that your awkward laugh? Oh, did she leave?
Amanda? Amanda? All
I
right, well, TJ, you go
accidentally
while we're
put
waiting on
myself
Amanda.
on mute. I put
Oh my god, this bitch.
Amanda,
It's 2023 and this bitch don't know how to work her headset. Next.
Stop. I'm like the group's Mimi, even though I'm like the youngest. Um So basically, this past year, I've read I've been revisiting children's books because I worked in a daycare and I was in charge of young minds. And I just read some really great children's books like Julian and the Wedding, and it's mostly like pictures of really colorful pictures of how, a child sees an adult event through, child's eyes. It was beautiful. The art was 10 out of 10. And then I think my favorite like adult book that I read this year, um, damn, what was it? It was huh? Oh my god! So I read this really fun book, um, called Something from Tiffany's, and it was like this romance, but like anyway, I recommend it 10 out of 10. It's really cliche, and if your life sucks like mine was at the time, read it and your life will be better.
I will
Okay.
add that to my list because I
Yeah,
love
it's so
romance
cute.
books.
Okay. I guess it's my turn. So, one of the ones that I read that I really enjoyed this year, it's not a new book, okay? This one is called What If It's Us? So it's like a gay romance, a YA gay romance, but
Oh yeah, I read that
it's
one.
not like fucking awful Instagram posts and mentions and shit like that. This came out in 2018, and I bought it when it was new, but it just kind of sat in my closet, and I just never read it until now. So, like, in October, I picked it up. I thought, oh, this will be cute. So I picked it up, literally, and this is what shook me. Okay, like, bitch, when I finished this, I thought, damn, I wish there was another one. And I went on Amazon, and like, literally, these two bitches literally made another one and published it, and I didn't even realize it. So, anyway, but it was really cute, and it was kind of what kind of got me started on when I was starting NaNoWriMo. That was kind of like the idea. I was like, I want to write something
Mhm.
cute like this. I didn't, but that was the goal.
Oh, also a book that I was behind reading, but I did read it last year because it has been out a little bit now, I think, was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That one was really good too. I would recommend that one for
A
sure.
bunch of people told me
I've
to
never
read
heard of
that
it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't want to give like spoilers away with it, but like it's set in like old Hollywood, and it's like this actress talking about each of the husbands that she had and what happened to them, and talking about her personal life. And it's I mean, it's like a fiction story, but it is just really good. And Amanda, if you want to borrow it, I have the actual like physical book,
Aw.
but it was really
Is
good.
it hardback or is it paperback?
I have
Okay,
it in
because I was
hardback.
like, if it's paperback, girl, I'm gonna have to buy it myself because I'm rough as fuck. I still have your the Sundown Motel book, which was really fucking good, by the way. I have to give that back to
Right?
you. And yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Anyway,
real quick before the episode ends, I want to ask you both: have any of y'all read Dune? Do you any Dune? Just like
Dune. Okay,
the sci-fi
so
book.
listen, I actually own that book and I wanted to read it, but it's one that like starts off like really like heavy, and I've just never been in the mood to sit down and actually finish it. I'm aware it's supposed to be a really good story, but like some sci-fi books just are like a hassle
yes.
for me because I have to like
I really want to read it
be
now.
willing for the lore.
I really want to read it now. Um,
It's an older book. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad book because obviously I haven't read it, but I know that it's going to be like one of those heavy sci-fi books because I think it was written in
Oh
like the 70s
fuck.
or the
oh yeah,
80s,
yeah,
or maybe
definitely.
the 60s.
like before I really like read into it, all I knew was that it had like a bunch of like big ass sandworms.
Dead. I'm
But
dead.
Oh, okay, sorry. The first Dune was written in '65 when my mom was 2 years old. I forgot there's like a full series of
Oh my
it
god,
though.
your
oh,
mom and
I
my
didn't know
mom are the
that.
same age.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 books in it. And because when books are like series like that, if I'm not like prepped for it, like mentally, I can, yeah.
Well, I want to. I'm trying to talk. Well, I'm not like trying to talk him into it. He's asleep, obviously. But I've been trying to get Dylan to watch it with me. So like, I literally just canceled HBO yesterday, and
No.
then I thought, and the day that I canceled it, I thought, fuck, I want to watch Dune. And guess what? HBO is the only one that had Dune. So I had to
Oh
resubscribe
no.
again. I was like, oh god.
You could have borrowed
But I really
mine.
wanted to watch it. Bitch, don't play with me. Oh my god.
Drop it in the chat, bitch. We'll share.
I'm sorry. I'll literally put it in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm a bad mother.
Do it,
Do
cause
it, yeah.
do it, because I want to unsubscribe from HBO because HBO is pissing me off.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man, before I forget, in these last few minutes, I have a few authors to make sure I credit for also wanting to read. Beverly Clearly and Judy Bloom. Thanks a lot, y'all. Yeah, like y'all are gonna listen to this. One of you's dead, but
Girl,
I hope you're dead.
Oh
I
my
just made that up.
god.
But like Ramona and Beezus and all that, like Super Fudge, yeah.
Judy Bloom. Oh my gosh.
Junie B. Jones
So
got
no,
me to read.
so
Judy B.
did
Jones!
nobody
Judy
read like
motherfucking bitch
the
Jones.
Nancy Drew or I almost said Boycott Boys. What's it called? The
Hardy
Oh,
Boys.
Hardy Boys. Thank you.
yes.
The fucking
Fucking
Boycott Boys. Help me.
Amelia
Oh my
Bedelia
gosh.
is the reason I'm such a spaz
Yes!
now. Like literally.
My
I
mom loved those
my
books.
I love it.
one time my mom threatened to take Amelia Bedelia away because she thought it was making me stupid, but it's really just I am stupid.
You are
No,
not
Mom,
stupid.
I'm just
I'm
stupid.
gonna smack you. You are not. Okay, look. This is on. We're gonna end on a good note, okay? Because we're getting close to our 1 hour mark. So I told everybody. I told Dylan this. I told everybody this. That like I normally go into the new year with a negative mindset because I'm one of these people that think, well, if you already think everything's shit, then when everything does go to shit, you're not disappointed.
Yeah,
You're just like, I'm
exactly.
prepared for it. It's like, okay, well, my fucking car blew up. Oh well, at least I was prepared for it. But no, I actually decided this year I'm gonna manifest. I'm manifesting good things. Like I went into the new year trying to manifest good things, like good vibes. Like
Yes.
we're gonna do some good things. We're gonna write some things. We're gonna So that's me. I'm not gonna say that 2023 I'm not gonna still be an asshole because that's never gonna leave, baby. That is me. It's in my DNA. That ain't never gonna leave.
Oh
I'm
my
still gonna
god.
be a sassy bitch, but I'm gonna be a sassy bitch that manifests good things towards people I like.
Period. Period.
Anyway, well, does anybody have anything else to add? Dylan is snoring. It's distracting me. Oh my god. Does anybody else have anything else to add?
I think we're good on this one. I'm gonna go
Ooh,
eat
go
some
eat
food.
that food, girl.
Yum.
Oh, I am reading Queen of Thieves, which I think TJ is gonna be reading eventually. So that's what I'm reading now.
Yeah, bitch. I wish you would have waited because I wanted to read it with you so we can have like an in the moment talk about it, like a book. Bitch, why haven't we started a book club yet?
I think because we're all
We tried to like 6 years ago.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, yes, I'm gonna get on it because I really want to read it, but I'm bound and determined to finish.
Do it.
I'm bound and determined to finish this other fucking book with really, really, really bad writing.
Hell yeah.
Which one are you reading?
It's the red, white, and royal blue.
Oh, you don't like red, white, and royal blue?
Bitch, I
We
mean
should
it's
have known
cute.
from
It's
that
got a
fucking
cute.
cover. From the fucking title,
It's
bro.
got
It was cute. I didn't say it was like great.
It's got a cute
but it was
storyline,
cute.
but that's the one that was talking about like the obnoxious cockroach. I don't like the writing. It's got a cute storyline, but I hate the writing is horrendous. Like, bitch, you might as well have thrown in the fucking worst shouty capitals. I don't know. I don't remember who did that.
Sorry.
But we are on. This writing is literally on the verge of like tipping the iceberg with that. So let me just put that out there. Anyway, So we're gonna go ahead and say we all love you. We're manifesting good vibes. If you come in here and try and mess up our vibes, and bitch, don't kill my vibe. My name is Valk, the head bitch, and there's these other two.
Don't
Bye.
do drugs.
Drink water. I'll have safe sex. Bye.
Bye.